Oh, yes. Base Boxing Basement, Triple B, with another video for the boxing fans and the Aussie fans. And who are we talking about? Yeah, and I've got to thank Cyborg Boxing for this. Tszyu, who's known as, and him and his brother Nikita are known as Paper Zoo, because I find that funny, because they charge you 80 Australian dollars, which is about 40 pounds, yeah, to watch these guys. I'm not saying they're bums, but, you know, these ain't pay-per-view fights, you know what I'm saying? So, on the Pacquiao vs. Barrios bill, which I'll get to at another time, you know, it's not a terrible bill, to be honest with you. It's got a lot of fights on it. You know, it's got like, I don't know, 10 fights on it, you know. But it's on Amazon Prime pay-per-view. No, that's the problem. It's not worth no pay-per-view. I'll get to the Manny Pacquiao Barrios ridiculousness. But so, Sebastian Fundora, who I quite liked, I always liked. He's 27, he's called the Towering Inferno. He's 6'5.5". I mean, that's massive. He's got a sister who's won a world title at boxing, but that doesn't mean nothing, because women boxing so whack. But, you know, he's, I always liked him. He seemed likable, and I quite like a freak. I quite like to see a freak, a really tall guy. And he's had one draw against a guy called Jamonte Clark, who had a good record. You know, who had a good record. 14-1 at the time. That's, you know, so he lost to him, and then he got KO'd by Brian Mendoza. Now, I won a lot of money on that, and if you watch my videos, you will see that I predicted the odds were something ridiculous, like 7-1, and I predicted that Brian Mendoza will KO Fundora, because tall guys often do not have good chins. You know, they do not have good chins. He got ironed out. And I actually felt sorry for Fundora. He looked like, you know, a little boy who'd been slapped up by the local bully. He had that look in his face like, oh, no, come on, man. But after that, he came back. He beat Tszyu, the so-called Soul Taker. That's a pretty whack nickname. But the son of Tszyu, who was unbeaten, and he won a split decision. And a lot of people go, oh, it's because of Tszyu's cut, he couldn't see properly. Well, I mean, that'll obviously have an effect, right? But Fundora also hurt his hand early, but he still won the fight. So, and after that, a guy called Bakhram Murtazaliev, right? Who is from Russia, and he's from that area, that Caucasus area. You know, when you get them hard guys from, like, I don't know, Khabib or whatever. You know, them guys are hard. They're mountain boys. You know, those goat herders, they're hard. And he KO'd Tszyu in 3. And again, I said it was 5-1, and I said this is a crazy price. Bet on Murtazaliev. If you bet on my tips, you would have made money. You lost one, you know, you don't win every time, but you would have made money. And Tszyu came back, beat Joseph Spencer, who had a good record of 19-1-0, but, you know, he just wasn't world class. He had no good wins. So we've got the rematch now. Sebastian Fundora vs. Tszyu, right? And this is quite an interesting fight. It's in Las Vegas, right? So that will suit Fundora to some extent, because he doesn't have to fly, get jet lag. I mean, Tszyu, as far as I know, Tszyu, you know, trains in Australia. That's a long, long way to go. You know, it's gonna mess up your circadian rhythm. You know what a circadian rhythm is? It's your sleep patterns and eating patterns. So, it's in the United States, like the last one, Las Vegas, and I think Fundora is vulnerable, you know, to big shot on the chin. Tim Paper Zoo can punch, But, at what level? He's beaten up a lot of bums, a lot of bums. And, he actually beat Brian Mendoza, who KO'd Fundora, but boxing's never like that. Oh, this person beat this person, therefore they'll beat that person. That's not boxing. Stars make fights. It's how your training camp is. It's how your psychology is. It's how fit you are. And Fundora must be very confident because after being ironed out by Brian Mendoza, he beat Tim Tszyu, and there was a guy called Chordell Booker. He had a 23 wins and 1 loss record, but he was once a big prospect, but, what's his face? Fundora destroyed him. So now there's a rematch. Now, you imagine psychologically who's got the upper hand? Well, it's got to be Fundora. Because even though Fundora has been chinned himself and had a draw, Tszyu got a way worse battering. I mean, when Fundora lost to Mendoza, it's a one-punch KO, right? Whereas Tszyu is coming off 2 losses in his last 3 fights. And Bakhram Murtazaliev destroyed him. And Fundora, outpointed him, but deservedly. So we got the rematch. Weirdly, Fundora is the underdog. Not by a lot. Not by a lot, by 2.4. But it's crazy to think, hang on. So what's his name? Tszyu's the favourite. He's not fighting in his backyard. He's fighting in the United States. He's already been beaten by this guy. And then he got ironed out by Murtazaliev. Why is he the favourite? He should be the underdog. I mean, I think it's a fairly even fight. And the poor Australian fans, like my boys Cyborg, Jarrod, Boxing Classics, Dan Murphy. If they want to watch this, well, hopefully they'll watch it on a stream. But I think it's on Amazon Prime, actually. But it's pay-per-view on Amazon Prime, which is ridiculous. And, I'm going for Fundora. Probably points. But he must be, the one who's feeling the adrenaline, the buzz. He's become champion. Yeah, he got knocked out like 3 fights before. But Tszyu's had a worst hiding from the Russian dude. And Fundora has beaten before. So why Tszyu's the favourite, I don't know. So I'm going for Fundora. Probably on points, but has Tszyu's chin been cracked? Has Tim Tszyu's chin been cracked? He was always a hype job. But he wasn't that bad a hype job. I mean, his dad is obviously one of the best pound for pound at that time, but Tszyu has never been in that bracket, but he still won a world title. But the 6'5.5", the 6'5.5" Fundora, right? So Tszyu is 5'8.5". So hang on, let me think. I've got to work. I don't mean to be retarded. I got to work this out. So he's like 9 inches taller. That's massive. Yeah, he's skinny. Yeah, he might be slightly chinny. But Tszyu is not going to enter with that much confidence. He's in Fundora's country. He's had to fly over from Australia, so he'll be jet-lagged. And he's already lost to him. And he got ironed out by the Russian. So, yeah, I think for me, Fundora probably on points. And I don't think, people will say, well, Tszyu had his cut and he couldn't see. And that did make a difference. You can't discount that. But Fundora injured his hand in round 2. But he still won the fight. So for me, Fundora on points is the pick. Peace in the Middle East.